So we're going to begin looking at our FSA Review Packet, page 13, in my son's very messy room. There's going to be a secret word, so hang on for the entire video to collect your letters. There will only be 3. Okay, so when I look at the review packet, I'm going to go ahead and start with number 1. Number 1 says, which number is equal to 10 to the power of 5? And so I just want to give you just a little reminder that is the same thing as saying multiplying the number 10 5 times. In other words, 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 and times 10. Multiplying the number 10 5 times. Of course, we're not actually going to multiply that out, but also remember that each time I move a place value, my number is becoming 10 times greater. In other words, I'm moving over 5 place values. So if I were to start at the number 1 and I move over 5 place values, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in essence, your number that you're looking for should have 5 zeros in it, which would give you 100,000. So that would be D. Number 71. Walter puts 1,050 cubic inches of dirt into the tank shown. Remember that cubic means 3 dimensions, so either length times width times height or volume. Use the number line to fill in the amount of dirt to show the height of dirt in the tank. So I know that my number line goes all the way up to 21. That doesn't necessarily mean that that is the total amount. I need to figure out how tall I'm going to fill it based on my given dimensions. So again, I know that volume is equal to length times width times height. To length times width times height, and I have my length and my width, or in other words, I have my base. So I could go ahead and multiply my 30 times 7, and then that will help me to figure out that unknown number. My basic fact, 3 times 7 is 21, and then adding my 0, 210. So if I take my total of 1,050 and divide it by 210, that is going to give me my height. So I'm going to go over here, 1,050 divided by 210. 210 is kind of close to 200, so about how many times can 200 go into 1,000? Well, I know that 2 can go into 10 5 times, so I'm going to say 5. Again, I used my basic fact and just got rid of some zeros. So 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 1 is 5, and then 5 times 2 is 10, leaving me with nothing left over. So in other words, the missing dimension down here, when I multiplied the 30 times 7, if I multiplied it by 5 more, I would get the missing dimension. So although my tank goes up 21 inches, they only filled it to the 5 mark. So I would go right across here and fill it in, and that's going to show how much they filled their tank. Okay, so on my next one, it says enter your answer in the box. So this is just, simulating the computer based. You would put your answer here, and this really is just standard multiplication, so I'm not going to spend any time on it, just other than to tell you it's whole number, double digit multiplication. Your larger number should always go on top, and to make sure that when you get to that second partial product, drop down your zeros. Your first letter is the letter H. Select the correct value for the following expression. So this is pretty easy. This is just straight on GEMDAS. So in GEMDAS, of course, what do I do first? GEMDAS, and I know in GEMDAS I do my groupings first. Do I have groupings? Yes, I do. I know that 12 plus 2 is 14, and so now I rewrite that equivalent expression, 55 minus 14. If I don't know how to solve it going this way, I can go ahead and rewrite it going vertically, and I would get 41, easy. Again, I'm going to use my GEMDAS. Do I have any groupings? Oh, yes, I do. So I'm going to write my 10, and then I'm going to drop everything else down to create an equivalent expression and divide it by 5. So now I have 25 plus 10 divided by 5, and let's see, I don't have any more groupings. I don't have any exponents. Remember, that's the little number up top like that. I don't have any of those.
multiplication or division. Oh, remember multiplication, division, we work it left to right. And in this case, I do have some division, so I'm going to do this before I add and subtract. Adding and subtracting, we also would work left to right if we have both. And in this case, that's going to be my last operation. So 10 divided by 5 is 2. And then rewrite 25 plus to make an equivalent expression. And now I get my correct answer. Now, of course, if you did something in the wrong order, that's going to be where your 2 distractors would have come from. Number 74. The 4 highest scores at the diving meet were 9 8/100, 9 1/10, 9 15/100, and 9 6/100 points. Choose the numbers that make the statement true. The lowest of these 4 scores was, okay, so when I want to compare my numbers, first I'm going to look at my whole number, 9, 9, 9, they're all the same. Then I'm going to look at my 10th place. I have a 0, a 1, and a 0. Obviously I know 0 is lower, but I have 2 with 0, so now I'm going to look at my 100th place. I have a 6 and an 8. 6 is lower, so this is my smallest number. The highest 4 points were, and so when I'm looking at the highest of these 4 scores, I'll do the same thing. I'm going to compare my whole number. After my digit, I have 0, 1, 1, and 0. I know that 1s are bigger. Here I have a 1 with nothing after it, and here I have a 1 with 5. The 5 is going to be bigger, so this is like I was saying, I have 10 cents or 15 cents. Obviously 15 is bigger than 10. And so that is the end of this page, and I totally forgot to give you 2 other letters, so your other last 2 letters are A, T.